Okay, hello everybody. It is Logan and Moresh from OpenDAO, and today we're here with our weekly live AMA video session that we will be doing now starting in December. And we've got a few topics. A lot of these have been chosen from the community, and we've talked about these internally. And today's first topic that we'd like to discuss is security. I know that a lot of people in the industry and in this space now have been witnessing a lot of attacks. It's a little bit like the Wild West, and I think it would be appropriate to ask some questions about security. So Moresh, if you would let us know what's your general sense on the space right now regarding security?
Hey Logan, hello everyone. So yes, security is a very big deal, and to be honest, that's the most important thing which I worry about. I mean, I'm not worried about the product in general. I'm not worried about when will we get traction. I'm not terribly worried about the token price where it is, because I'm quite confident that it will be all reflected with time. It will be significantly higher than where we are at right now. But the one thing which sort of does keep me up is security. So in the recent past, in the last few weeks and months, there have been a lot of attacks, and a lot of money has been stolen from smart contracts via flashstone attacks in particular. What we can do is we can go through our entire approach about security, and I can talk about various aspects and how we are trying to reduce and minimize the scenarios under which we can get attacked.
Great. Yeah, let's we can kind of go through that step by step, but why don't we start actually by talking about the recent attack that happened. There was a DDoS attack on the
Yes.
OpenDAO
So
website.
that was a funny one. Obviously, I mean, no attack is funny, but it was funny because once we listed on Uniswap, we got attacked. We had a distributed denial of service attack. The hacker actually reached out to me, and we had a bit of a tense negotiation with him. I was actually not very worried about that particular attack, because the way the attack happened was, yes, the website was down, but the way smart contracts work is the actual value is in the contract. So even if the website goes down, then the actual value is not lost, because that's in the blockchain. And you can always build up a new UI, you can always access the contracts differently. It is obviously worrying for somebody who is a newbie or somebody who's relatively not aware of how these attacks function, to get concerned if the website is down, and I mean, people will think, oh, these guys listed on Uniswap and there is a rug pull. That's not a good look, of course, but and that's actually what the hacker was counting on. His whole entire theory was, we will panic and we will give in to his demands. But if he had done that, then there's every chance that then he would have attacked us again and sort of kept on fleecing us. So the only way to deal with it was to ask him to do his worst. So we basically told him to do that. So do what you want, we are not paying you. And because see, DDoS attacks, although they are very asymmetric, the damage which they cause is much more than the cost of a DDoS attack, but it does cost him something. So he actually stopped after some time because he couldn't keep it up. It was costing him money and we were not paying him anything. And then he said, okay, if you don't pay me, I'll attack again. And then that's what he did. He attacked us. So what we did is we moved to IPFS. IPFS is pretty much impossible to bring down. And then he kept on attacking us. And he basically said that, okay, he basically was negotiating against himself at this point. He was basically saying, okay, why don't you respond? I'll tell you what I did, and then I'll become a security consultant to him, etc. We came out very clearly to him that, okay, we actually want to pay people for reporting us issues, but not at a gunpoint. That's never going to work. So then we eventually came to a conclusion where he stopped his attacks. He wanted us to pay first to give his recommendations, but that was not going to happen. So he actually gave us his recommendations. We weighed it, and then we gave him a little bit of a token fee, so that to reward him for reporting him. So that kind of, so basically we insisted that he's going to tell us everything first. We'll fix it first, and then we'll give him a bounty and never ransom. So there is an old story in the United States where there is during the Barbary Wars. I don't know, Logan, maybe you are probably aware. Uh, Not a penny for tribute, but millions for defense. So we'll never pay ransom. So he told us everything. We fixed it. I don't think we are going to have DDoS attacks, but there's always IPFS to fall back on. So that's DDoS. Nothing to worry about. It's scary, but doesn't really impact.
It's kind of a superficial attack.
It's a superficial thing. Yes. I mean, it's not a good look when it happens, but there's nothing to worry about. There are other issues though, which are smart contract level, which I will talk about now, if that's okay.
Please. Yeah, that was my next question. So please go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing which actually worries me about is smart contracts. So obviously every smart DeFi project has smart contracts, and there is always this approach of, okay, we'll decentralize in the future, because initially you can't decentralize because decentralization comes at the cost of speed. So most projects start by being centralized and then they decentralize over a period of time. But during that period as well, you could have millions and millions of dollars locked up with you. And that is a risk. So how do you address that? So we have like a twofold philosophy about this. The first thing is to not use our own smart contracts wherever possible. So we had our staking code before we moved to Unicrypt because they have staking code. We have to pay them a small amount of fee for that, but that's kind of okay because that means that we don't have admin keys for it, so that the community doesn't have to trust us. The second thing which we did was we locked in our own. So our entire philosophy is based upon not using our own smart contracts wherever possible. Where necessary, we'll use them, but where possible, not to have any sort of admin control. So we moved to Unicrypt for staking, which means that we don't have the LP tokens. They are all staked with Unicrypt. We don't have any admin control on it. We also locked in our own liquidity into Unicrypt on a year-long time lock, which means that we can't do rug pull. The third thing is we have cash boxes, which is our original native code that is completely audited. We ran a beta for it. It's fully permissionless. We can't change anything about it, even if you wanted to. So that's the only piece of code which is from our side. And beyond that, we are also moving to UMA. Cool. So this is funny. But yeah, we live in a first world country, Australia, and we have very bad internet. So it's a bit embarrassing, to be honest. But let's talk about UMA. So we have this thing as part of a roadmap where we are going to have a stable coin, which is going to be backed by on-chain and off-chain assets. So the fundamental premise is you lock in value from one side and out comes liquid value, which is a stable coin. So earlier we were planning to use synthetics for that. We were going to fork synthetics and we were going to have our assets go into it, and then out comes a stable coin, which would have meant that we have to maintain that core. We are not doing that now. What we are doing instead is we are replacing synthetics with UMA. UMA, some of you might be aware, is a protocol for minting synthetic assets, which means that it's a very flexible protocol. So instead of us maintaining the synthetics contracts, we don't have admin keys. We can just UMA things. It reduces our time and effort. It also increases risk because A, we don't have the admin keys, and B, they are sort of doing something much more battle tested. They're having significant quality audits because they are a much bigger project than us at this stage. Beyond that, I think UMA has two key things which make it very, very interesting. If you understand flash loan attacks in particular, the way they operate is they try to do within something within a single block. It usually relies upon having an oracle. So what they do is they try to attack something which is very has low liquidity. They try to influence the price of that token by dumping something. So they impact the oracle. And then within the same block, they try to buy and then do something else. So the typical attack is usually a flash loan attack. and uses Oracle by distorting the oracles itself. UMA has two key things which sort of prevent this. One is UMA doesn't have an oracle. They have a unique no oracle design, which pretty much eliminates any oracle-based attacks. It's not completely an oracle design, so I'll talk about UMA's architecture in detail at some point, but there is no opportunity to do an oracle-based attack. Secondly, UMA also has something called dispute resolution, which means that there is no opportunity for somebody to sort of run into the house, steal everything, and disappear within a block. Somebody can contest it. So this comes at the cost of speed. But in my opinion, that is okay, because in the real world, you go to a bank, it takes weeks at times to get your borrowing. If you can do that within hours, that's still a significant improvement. And I think between speed and security, it's perfectly fine to compromise speed. And I think that's the same philosophy which Ethereum has. A lot of people complain about how Ethereum is slower than Tron or EOS, etc. But what they don't realize is decentralization often means that speed is sacrificed. It's perfectly okay to go a little bit slower as long as you know that somebody is not going to run off with your money. So we are going to compromise speed, but we are going to go for a completely bulletproof system. So I feel very good about UMA because they are fit for purpose. It reduces our time and effort to market. We will also get some development mining rewards, which is awesome for the community because they will be getting open tokens plus UMA tokens as rewards, and maybe BAL tokens as well, but we'll come to that later on. Balancer tokens as well. That may or may not happen, but we'll see. But that's kind of besides the point. It reduces our time to market. It increases our security significantly and reduces any worries on our side. Security is a journey. You can never completely eliminate the potential for an attack, but at least you can eliminate the known attacks and reduce attack surfaces. And I think that will hold us in good stead in the years to come.
That's, I think, going to be a big comfort for a lot of people. I know that being the head of the community, I get these questions from time to time about rug pulls, flash loans. So I think that, by OpenDAO reducing its surface area, so to speak, it's going to be a lot more secure and just have some more comfortable people in the community, which I don't mind.
There is a lot of complexity these days in smart contracts. So the more simple we make things, the better it is. You don't have to make like an Wi-Fi or an origin dollar to actually create value. Things can be simple. Uniswap, for example, is a very simple project.
Yes.
It does what it does. I mean, yes, there's a compromise in certain aspects, but it's a very simple thing and it works. So we are going to keep things simple. We are going to reduce our attack surfaces as much as possible and create value in that fashion in a sustainable manner.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking your time to answer mine and the community's questions. And is there any last thing that you'd like to say to the world?
So thank you for being with us. Thank you for supporting us. There are big things coming. Don't worry about the price. I honestly don't know what the price is today. And
it went up last night.
Okay, cool. But don't worry about it too much. There are big things coming. I'm particularly excited about the UMA rollout, and we are putting all our focus into that. Hopefully sometime in December, in the next few weeks, we'll have something rolled out with UMA. We are working on it as we speak.
Right, so there's big news coming down the pipelines.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Everyone will be happy to hear that.
Yes.
So, yep.
Something with Ren as well. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you again for answering these questions. And to everyone out there, remember to like and subscribe and ding, tick your little bell there and stay tuned for more content coming out. Like I said, we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis. So hope to see you there. Bye, world.
Thank you. Bye-bye.